You never know what to expect on the farm, and plans are always changing. I spent several $100s growing cover crops, over a dozen hours planting them on 15 acres here on the worst soil on our farm. Additionally, I paid more money for more nutritious feeds for the livestock that would be eating it. And 4 weeks ago, I decided that I was going to graze it with cows instead of pigs. And now, today, I've started mowing it with the flail mower. I'm Rob from Dowdle Family Farms, and I am on a mission to regenerate the soils on our farm, improving soil health, reducing our reliance on synthetic chemicals, herbicides, pesticides, and especially fertilizers, while at the same time growing more feed for our livestock, especially pigs, on our farm so we don't have to rely on purchased grain inputs. To that end, I planted cover crops on this field to begin the journey of improving the soil in wildly dramatic ways. We've done it on other parts of the farm, but we've never done this much on such a large scale, for us anyway. Let's go out into the field and take a look at what it looks like. As you can see, parts of this cover crop right here came up pretty thinly, whether it was an issue that we had with wildlife eating it as it was growing, or whether it was just poor seeding. It's probably a combination of that. However, other areas like this right here are performing quite well. You can see that even though it was poor soil, even though they'd only had about 6 pounds of actual nitrogen per acre, you can tell that this is about 5 feet tall. And when you look down into the soil, it's still kind of thin. It was not planted quite thick enough, or it didn't get good enough germination rates. But the sorghum sudangrass is performing well. And the cowpeas, like right there in the center of the frame, are also growing quite well. The sunflowers have already bloomed and gone to seed. And as expected, they only grew about 4 feet tall. We have not had quite as good fortunes with our warm season legumes like the cowpeas and especially the forage soybeans. The forage soybeans did not sprout very well. And the cowpeas, just as they were starting to sprout and starting to put on growth, we had a good bit of wildlife pressure, especially deer, that were eating them. And even though they regrow really well, when you get a lot of pressure from grazing early on in the growth, they just have a hard time recovering from that. However, what I wanted to show you in this video is that you can see that parts of this sorghum sudangrass are going to seed. You can see the sorghum sudangrass seed here. You can also see the seed pods there and right there growing pretty tall. It's hard to see it very well, but when you look over the whole field, there's not a whole lot of this that's going to seed. Now, it is going to seed in some places. The sorghum sudangrass is in prime condition for it to be grazed or mown. I've been in the hospital and sick and have not been able and won't be able to get the livestock over here to graze it anytime soon. I could move pigs in here pretty easily, but it would take a while, and it's a hot field in the middle with very little shade, and I'm not comfortable putting pigs out here just yet. It's still too hot. And because I'm not able to graze it yet, the problem with sorghum sudangrass is once it goes to seed, it starts to send all of its energy into the seed itself. For us, if I graze this 2 weeks later, the bulk of this field will then be going to seed, and I won't be able to get the maximum nutrition out of it. However, if I go on and mow it now, what'll happen is the sorghum sudangrass is on the ground and it has a greater chance of regrowing before it goes to seed. Sorghum sudangrass improves the soil in 2 major ways. First, it produces a lot of biomass. It's normally measured in dry matter per acre. Now, this field isn't going to produce the 10 to 12 tons of dry matter per acre. Other fields that we have that have been growing it for a while will. My suspicion, I'm not measuring it or anything else, but my suspicion is right now this field has between 1 and 2 tons of dry matter per acre that are growing on top of the ground. So you've got that dry matter per acre, whether it's left on the ground in the form of manure or mulch like this. That dry matter per acre helps charge the soil life on top of the soil. Earthworms will start decomposing it, so will soil life and all other kinds of soil biology. However, sorghum sudangrass has its greatest benefit in its roots. The roots can penetrate 2 or 3 feet into the soil profile like it is right now. However, once sorghum sudangrass is grazed or mown, the roots will begin to penetrate even deeper into the soil profile. So as those roots penetrate deeper, not only are the roots remaining deeper in the soil profile, but most importantly, the root exudates that they leave into the soil, composed of sugars, carbons, and amino acids, and many other things for soil life that then in turn feed the sorghum sudangrass. What happens is those root exudates are increased dramatically to improve the soil life that'll in turn feed it, but it also penetrates deeper into the soil profile. So while mulches and manures that are applied to the top of the soil benefit the top few inches of soil life, the roots benefit even deeper into the soil life, improving the amount of carbon that's sequestered in the form of organic matter, and also increasing the soil fertility and the tilt and everything else. Because of this, I am mowing this sorghum sudangrass. I'm doing it with a flail mower. I would usually not take the time with a flail mower in a garden. I typically like the flail mower because it chops it up finely. However, flail mowers are hard to mow at the optimum height for sorghum sudangrass regrowth, which is closer to 6 to 9 and even 12 inches. However, the big tractor with a bush hog is not working right now, waiting on some batteries and other stuff to fix it. So I'm just doing this with the flail mower. Hopefully I'm not mowing it too low and it will regrow. It should, but if it does not, then I can come back and replant either a crop of forage soybeans or cowpeas or buckwheat if we get enough soil moisture that the pigs can graze on. It's currently July 31st, so within the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, we'll begin planting our cool season crops. All of that will depend on the amount of soil moisture that we'll be expecting. This is also a dry time of the year, so we may not be able to plant those cool season crops until October or November. However, all of this is to help prepare the soil. The benefits of sorghum sudangrass is that it's great for livestock, but in extremely poor soil like this, we want to maximize the benefit. And in order to do that, we want the soil improved. Because of that, and because we have plenty of feed elsewhere on the farm for the cows, I'm mowing this so that it'll regrow and improve the soil health dramatically. It's Rob from Dowdle Family Farms. I hope you have a great day and take care.